What's up, guys? Yes, you read the title right. I think it is time to turn back on some GPUs. Now, we're not going to be turning back all of them. We're going to be smart about it because these are still not profitable. But as I mentioned in a previous video, since I am a content creator and a lot of people watch me for GPU mining, even if it's not profitable, I think I owe it to you guys to run at least one of these at a slight loss solely to give you guys content. There's a lot of people who love GPU mining but maybe are not able to run their rigs right now and still want to kind of view GPU mining content and all of that. And honestly, since I'm incredibly lucky that I have some of the YouTube revenue to kind of offset negative mining, that I owe it to you guys to at least turn one of these on. So we're going to discuss which rig I'm turning on, how many GPUs total am I going to turn on? And then more importantly, what coin am I going to mine? I'm going to be switching up strategies to something I haven't done or discussed on this channel yet. Today's video is sponsored by Crypto Miner Bros, a reliable and highly trusted ASIC miner reseller. There are a couple huge benefits to buying from Crypto Miner Bros. The first is that the price on their website is the all-in price shipped to your door, no hidden fees. The second is that they have a massive selection of all the popular miners. My current favorite miner is the DG Home 1, which I got from Crypto Miner Bros. Don't forget to use code MODERN for $70 off each item regardless of price. Purchasing ASIC miners can be risky with tons of scams going around. Why not make it easy with Crypto Miner Bros? Check them out today with the link down below. So you guys know my strategy has always been mine the most profitable coin, and when it's not profitable to mine, you turn your rigs off and you buy the coin because it doesn't make sense to mine at a loss. You're getting less crypto than you would just buying the coin. Now there's a couple caveats to that, and one of them is if the coin you're trying to acquire isn't on an exchange, or to buy it on an exchange has high fees to the point where you're actually better off mining to get it. That's one caveat. The other is if you just don't have enough time to every day be going on a trade ogre and buying some super small market cap coin. And that's kind of the issue that I'm running into, is that even though my rigs are off, I'm not going in and buying coins every single day. So I think it does make sense for me to turn one of these back on, and we're gonna be switching up the strategy. We're gonna be mining for yield, which is something I have not done on this channel, and I still generally believe in mining the most profitable coin and then switching into whatever coin you want to acquire. But I still think it'll be easier and more hands-off for me to set one rig on a coin maybe for a month or for a couple weeks. I may end up doing like a 2-week switch up video every 2 weeks where I start yield mining a different coin. We'll just have to see how you guys like this video and this kind of content. So this is the rig I think I'm going to turn on. This is the rig that's on the top shelf of my GPU rack. It does have a couple 3060 Ti's mixed in here, but this one from my testing is the most efficient rig. So since profits are still not great, efficiency is still very important, and that's why I'm choosing this rig. Now, additionally, this rig has 12 GPUs on it, and I want to figure out if I run all 12 of these, so let's say 100 watts a card, how much is that going to be costing me each month in power? And luckily, I've got this super simple spreadsheet over here to do that calculation for us. So let's hit 1200 watts on here, and we can see that for 1200 watts, that is about $100 a month in power. So that's kind of stiff. Now, granted, I'm probably going to be getting $60 or $70 of crypto, but if I'm yield mining, that actually might be even less. And personally, I'm just not in a position where I want to spend $100 a month and potentially not be getting that back. So another thing that I'm going to be doing here is actually reducing the size of this rig before we turn it on. And there's honestly a super easy way to do that, and I'll show you right now. You guys are going to laugh, but it does work. I'm going to simply just unplug one of these power supplies because each of these is powering 6 cards. So now when I flip this power supply back here to turn this rig on, we should only be running with 6 cards. And it's been off so long that I actually did not flip it on. So I need to find my little handy power button here and hit that. And that actually didn't turn it on either. But oh, that's because it's off. So there we go. So we should only have 6 cards running here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then are any of these spinning? No, they are not. And the good news is these are all 3070s EVGA cards, so that's good. So let's see if this gets booted up. It should start mining Zealous, and then We'll make sure everything looks okay, and then we'll hop on the computer and see just which coin we want to mine. I gotta say, it feels pretty good to have some GPUs cranking away, even if they're not making as much money as they used to. While we wait for that, I'll give you guys a quick update on just some of my other hardware. So obviously got the Aether Edge, the D-pin device right here. This is supposedly making $110 a month, though I'm not selling anything. Hopefully ATH coin goes crazy and that makes it so this thing's making like $300 a month. I've obviously got my AlphaPex DG Home 1. This is my most profitable miner, making $2 to $3 a day. Probably a little over $1.50 in profit. I haven't checked that in a while. Got my Jazz miner right here. This thing is running about break even if I had to guess. It's mining ETC. Got my Pi node. I still have not made the video on that yet. And let's see. Yep, that's up and running. I'm having some issues with this computer turning off, and I haven't been able to figure out why just yet. And then lastly, the other thing I've got going on down here, I'm still doing my salad test. This rig right here, 3080 and 5900X. And I've got a very cool thing that I've been doing is I got some Govee smart plugs that are tracking my kilowatt hour usage and giving me super accurate power cost readings. And then I obviously have my earnings from Salad. So I'm able to actually get an exact number of how profitable I am on Salad. And just a sneak peek, guys, it is more profitable than Warthog and other crypto mining, at least on my hardware for right now. Well, it worked in that we popped up 6 cards, but I didn't realize that that rig is all 3060 Ti's. All of those EVGA cards are 3060 Ti's. So that's not what I want to do, because if it was just mining Zealous, I'm fine with only turning on 3060 Ti's. But if I'm going to be mining like Kapow style coins and stuff, I definitely want to make sure I'm using 3070s. Now, I would use my For the Win 3 cards, but for some reason, these things run less efficient than just my base model cards. So I think I'm going to plug that cable back in, turn this rig off, and then maybe we go down here and see what cards we can get to pop up down there. So we will flip this off. Well, see you in a couple months. And we'll plug this cable back in while we're at it. So we're down here at the bottom rig. I was just taking a look at what GPUs we actually have. It looks like mainly this would be a 3060 Ti. That's a 2-fan card. 3070, 3070, 3070, 3060 Ti, 2 3070s, and then I believe all of these are 3070s. Now this one's a bit different that there is 2 server PSUs, but there's also a big 1000 watt Corsair PSU. So these cards are kind of running on 3 power supplies. So I think I'm gonna unplug that one on the left. I think it'll cut out a couple of these cards, and this may actually turn into like an 8 card rig, which is fine. That is definitely doable over a 12. So we'll go ahead and unplug this. And let's go ahead and turn this on. So one benefit of running this rig is it's on the bottom, so it'll be getting all the coolest air, whereas this will be getting the hottest air if we were to use that up top rig. Now that doesn't matter right now where temps aren't crazy, but we are getting closer and closer to summertime. I've had my window open for a while now, and that window open as well. So temps will start to matter soon, especially when we start pulling another 800 watts here. All right, this is incredibly weird. This power supply is on, and it's not even plugged in. What in the hell is going on there? Okay, I unplugged the linking cable, so this should not turn on again, but someone let me know how that is even possible. It's not like it was on for a second. Like, the fans were spinning on these cards and the lights on top were on, so that is very crazy. But let's reach in here and turn this back on. This shit is still on somehow. And the Molex cable is not plugged in back there either. What the hell? All right, that makes absolutely no sense to me. But I went ahead and just plugged that back in, put the chain cable back in. I don't want to break anything doing this, and obviously that power supply wants to work, so screw it. We'll run all 12. We'll monitor. Like I said, I might be doing like every 2-week videos on switching to different yield coins. So I just turned this back on. Let's give it a second. If everything looks good, then we can hop into selecting which coin to mine. Okay, good news is this is up and running. All 12 GPUs showed up, no problem. That's always nice to see when the rig's been down for quite a while. One thing I want to do is update to the latest version here. I know that there was a couple zealous improvements that happened, so we will upgrade that. And now let's head upstairs and get into the coin selecting. All right, guys, so as I mentioned, we're going to be switching up and mining for yield, which is definitely something we have not done together on the channel before. So we need to figure out, basically with crypto mining and a lot of people turning off their GPUs, which coins have suffered the biggest hash rate decreases, and therefore we're going to be getting a ton of coins, a lot of yield if we mine those coins. Now there's a couple ways to figure this out, and I also am going to ask you guys if you know a better way to figure out which coins have lost the most difficulty. Besides, I normally just use like mining pool stats. So if we just use like Aleo, for example, then you can come in here and see the difficulty, though it looks like Aleo's is glitched out. Let's do Zealous. And you can see the 6-month difficulty, but I would like to know if anyone has a better way to do this, maybe to see a longer timeline. The other option to do this on Hashrate.no, if you go to coins, then you can type in the coin you want to check, so Zealous in this case, and it'll give you a yield chart right here, but this is only a week's worth, so it'd be nice if you could make this chart like a month's worth, but you can't. Well, I think I just answered my own question. If you actually go to difficulty here, then you can see it from whatever time frame you want. Though Zealous did have an algo change, so that's messing with the scale of this chart. Regardless, let's take a look at some coins. So I just want to look at, first off, 3070 and see kind of what is at the top of the charts here in terms of profitability. Though it's not what we're going to do, it still will give us a good idea of kind of what coins in general we could mine. We can see that Vertcoin is up here. Flux is up here. Flux might be a good option. I would not mind having a little bit more Flux. Quay is maybe a little too high power for what I want to do here. Ergo is also not a bad option. I do not have a lot of Ergo. So let's pull up a couple of these. Let's pull up Flux. Let's pull up Ergo. I've got a lot of Zealous already. Dynex, maybe one we can look into. Ironfish is always a decent example. Chlor and Nexa. And that's probably enough for now. Maybe we'll look at NurAI too. Okay, so we got Flux up first. Let's take a quick look at the overview here. It does indeed look like the yield is up 55% on the month. So that's what I'm talking about here, where we are going to be yielding a lot more coins, which is going to be nice. Let's jump into the hash rate chart too and kind of look at a historical look of the hash rate. We'll just take a look at this section right here. And I don't like how it doesn't adjust the scale. So let's also check Flux on mining pool stats and see if that chart looks any better. So if we go to Flux, we can see that the difficulty has been pretty flat, but certainly is down. So I think our best bet, really just to see how much things have been impacted in the past month, is going to be this chart on the overall summary screen, which is going to show you the percentage over the last month. So real quickly, let's compare that on Ergo, 26% on the month. Dynex, 111% on the month. That's pretty interesting. Let's check out Dynex over 6 months. I don't like mining Dynex because the wallet that I use doesn't have wallet export. So every time I get a transaction, I'm having to manually add it on my taxes, and that is, to me, is extremely annoying. The other thing is I don't think Dynex is on TradeOgre, though we can look at markets right here and see Gate. Oh, it is on TradeOgre. So, okay. So if I do want to mine Dynex, I'll just mine it straight to TradeOgre. I'm not going to end up with any crazy amount. If I get like $300 worth of coins, then I'll probably move it off TradeOgre. But before we lock in that decision, let's keep looking. So Dynex did look pretty good from a 6-month difficulty right here. Big drop. The lowest it's been in 6 months by far, and 111% down over the past month. I haven't checked the Dynex price in a very long time. Let's take a look at that. Basically at all-time low. Definitely low on the year. What is Dynex ranked? Top 2,000, so by no means a high coin. So, okay, let's keep going. Dynex is probably in the lead right now. Let's look at Ironfish. The yield is up 22% in the last month. Not that great. Chlor, 60%, though I don't really want to mine a Kapow coin. Nexa, 34%, and then XNA or NurAI, 27%. Let's check Chlor and Nexa on mining pool stats, but it looks like we're going to be mining dynex for at least a couple weeks. So Chlor is at 6-month lows. That's interesting. And then we were also going to check Nexa. Is at 6-month lows, but it hasn't dropped that much. And correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but wasn't there a ASIC announcement for Nexa? Let me know about that more down below if you know about it. Okay, let's mine dynex on this rig. I have not mined dynex in a long time. Let's see if I still have a flight sheet maybe. I know it requires some kind of weird miners. I don't even see dynex in my kind of options here. So if we type in 3070 here and go to 3070, and then let's search for dynex, and it says we're only losing 12 cents a day per card. It's not horrible. Let's go in here and see we need to be using 1.0 miner, and then it's got some nice overclocks for us right here, and then we'll probably need to dial those in a bit more. So I need to check my wallets. I should already have a dynex wallet, and hopefully one that's already hooked up to TradeOgre too. I do, dynex TradeOgre. So let's go ahead and just create a flight sheet. We're going to be mining dynex. We're going to be mining it straight to TradeOgre because I do not like how the dynex web wallet does not let you export transactions. In terms of pool, let's check out again. I know there's been some drama with hero miners and dynex. That has been pretty funny since hero miners has so much of the hash rate. Dynex has not been happy, but man, I see why none of these other pools are kind of big at all. K1 pool is on there. Maybe we just do K1 pool. It's got very low hash rate. I mean, it's going to be the equivalent of almost solo mining, but I think that's what we'll do just since I'm familiar with it. Pool, we will select K1 pool, USA server, and then the miner, we decided we're going to do 1.0 miner, paste in our overclock settings here. Sorry if you guys can hear that thunder. It's a pretty crazy storm outside. Apply changes, and we will name this dynex TradeOgre, and this is for yield mining. So let's go ahead and apply that. Hopefully that works without any crashes or anything. The nice thing, oops, I applied the wrong one. The nice thing about how I build these rigs is they are able to handle Kapow coins. So even if dynex pulls 130 watts, that's not something I need to be worried about because my rigs are spec'd to run like at least 160 watts. I do probably need to get rid of my overclock settings in here so that it uses the ones from the flight sheet. We'll do that, and let's monitor. So it looks like it's not working. We're getting a error connecting to the dynex K1 pool. So let's pull up the dynex pool here and see if that is the correct address. So 3690 is what it looks like there. Is that what we're getting? Yes. Maybe let's try to manually put that. So if we go into our flight sheet and do configure and miner, let's try to manually add that. So pool URL, put that right here. Let's try that and see if that fixes it. While we're waiting on that, if you guys do want to mine dynex to K1 pool, I will leave my referral link to K1 pool down below. I would really appreciate if you guys use it. All right, we got the same error. This is my bad, actually. We need to switch the wallet on this to dynex K1 pool, because if you remember, for K1 pool, you need to mine to your actual account. So that's why we need to actually put this instead of our TradeOgre address. So dynex K1 pool. And we'll get save as a global wallet. Now that will work. So that's why we were getting the that error actually said like user login or something, and that's because we were not mining to the correct address. Our TradeOgre address is what we'll actually need to put into our K1 pool payout settings. Okay, so we are up and running, 30 kilohash at 1300 watts. Let's refresh this again, and it is still going up, so we will let that get to the max. One last thing we need to do is actually make this as efficient as possible, and as always, Mr. Red Fox Crypto has a great guide on getting the most efficient overclock settings for all the 30 series GPUs. I will leave a link to this video down below, guys. Check that out if you do end up mining dynex. but we are going to switch our settings to these. But first, I want to go ahead and let this get up and running with the hash rate and no settings, so we can compare those efficiency numbers with the Red Fox crypto ones. It's always a good idea just to verify that those are indeed the best settings. Now, this is taking a bit because dynex is a coin that kind of ramps up to your max hash rate. It's not just all at once. So I'm just continuing to refresh until this eventually gets to kind of the max value. According to hash rate and node, we should be getting about 5,200 hashes per second. And it looks like we are getting around 54 hashes per second, so that's good. And you can see there is a pretty stark difference between the 3060 Ti and the 3070, though there is less wattage being used on the 3060 Ti, so not really the end of the world. I may end up eventually switching these last two 3060 Ti cards onto that top rig, so this rig can be all 3070s. But all right, this is good enough. Let's get a calculator out here and check our efficiency. So I'm just going to do 63.92 divided by our 1340 watts. And it is an efficiency value of 0.477. And now we will switch these to Mr. Red Fox's overclocks and see what that looks like. I'll follow up with you guys in a second. Okay, so we have some new settings in here. This is just a locked core clock at 1170 and a locked memory clock at 5001. If you look at his video, he actually recommends like locked at 1500 and then a 310 offset. But in a more recent video he did on Zealous, he figured out that you can just lock your core clock much lower, and it basically simulates also having a core offset. So that's what I did. I basically actually just copied his Zealous overclocks, and that is where we're getting this right here. And big drum roll please, let's see if it's more efficient. So we need to do 48.64 divided by 1017. And we are indeed a little bit more efficient, but the big thing for me is we're saving like 300 watts, which is like 20 to 30 bucks a month. So I definitely like these lower power settings, and I'm actually going to try one more setting here. I'm going to switch this to 1140 and see if that is more efficient. And then if it is, I'm just going to leave it at that and see what happens. So I'll check back in when these are done. Hopefully this is even more efficient. Okay, last settings are set. Let's check this as well. 48.08 divided by 1002. Didn't change much, and it's actually less efficient, but I'm just going to go ahead and leave it at that. Saved another 15 watts. So keep in mind, guys, this number is not exact, but the percentage change should be enough to let us know if it's the most efficient or not. So that's about it, guys. I gotta say, it feels good to have some GPU rigs up and mining again. They've been off for almost a month now, so that's pretty cool. On your way out, if you want to know what the best HiveOS settings are, check out this video. And if you want to know where to find the best deals on GPUs, check out my website, gpudeals.net. Thanks for watching, guys.